There are a ton of different approaches that are taken when adapting a video game into a movie. You have stuff like the animated Mario movie, where the company who made the games work very closely with the people who are making the movie to make sure that the movie is good representation for the franchise. Then you have what is sadly way more common with things like the Monster Hunter movie, where the only thing you have in common with the games is the title. Movies like Monster Hunter show basically no love for the game that they're supposed to be based on, and they suck for that. Now, obviously most video game movies fall somewhere in between, but my personal favorite type of video game movie are the really early ones where they basically had no story to base off of. Usually that leads to these movies becoming their own little world because the franchise they're based on actually ends up developing a story that's nothing like the movie was. The movie I feel best represents this is the live-action Mario Brothers movie. In the live-action Mario Brothers movie, the dinosaurs never went extinct, and there's just a portal underneath the streets of New York that leads to a dinosaur world where they evolved their own civilization, where Koopa's the dictator, and everything down here is really edgy and dystopian. But with that being said, nothing of what I just said has anything to do with the actual Mario games. None of that is in Mario. And that's because this movie came out when there weren't that many Mario games out and they didn't really have a story to base off of, so they just kind of had to make up their own shit. And now that it's been so long and there's been so many Mario games and Mario as a personality has developed so much, it feels like this movie is a weird peek into another reality where Mario was gritty and dystopian, and that's really cool to me. Moving forward a bit, when games had more established stories, it still wasn't good enough for movie studios, and when they would get adapted into movies, the stories would get changed anyway. That led to a bunch of people just making whatever slop they wanted with a video game title attached to it. Looking back, there are a lot more of these than I remember, with things like Lara Croft in 2003 all the way up to things like Hitman 47 in 2015. There's just such an abundance of these movies, I didn't know half of these even existed. I had no clue there was a Far Cry movie, or a Postal movie, or a Tekken movie. I remember Warcraft 2016, but I don't remember fucking Assassin's Creed the same year. But regardless, eventually we would get to what I would consider the turning point for video game movies. Not that everything before this was bad and everything after it is good, but I think generally video game movies are taken more seriously both by the fans of the video games and by the people creating the movies. The movie that really made this change, in my opinion, was Detective Pikachu. This movie has so much love and effort poured into it. Even though it does have a very simple and not deep story, the amount of detail put into the world and the people and Pokemon that live in it more than makes up for it for me. Regardless if you thought it was well written or not, there's no denying that Detective Pikachu stayed true to the series of Pokemon. This movie's also when Easter egg hunts in video game movies really started. Like, if you pause during any scene, you'll have a bunch of stuff to look at. I know not everybody cares about this kind of stuff, but for me, it makes it really easy to see how much the artists who are actually making the movie love the franchise that they're working on. After that movie, in my opinion, we've gotten a pretty mixed bag, but I think they're mostly positive with things like the Sonic movies. And even outside of movies, there have been quite a few video games that have been adapted into shows, and they range from dog shit like the Halo series to something that is just actually truly special like The Last of Us. And I want to talk about The Last of Us specifically because it's an adaptation that changes things from the source material, but not in a way that's disrespectful in any way. The obvious one, no spoilers, being that they're not at risk from spores, because could you imagine hiring Pedro Pascal and forcing him to wear a mask all the time? Moving on to the last kind of approach, which is also the newest, with a Minecraft movie. This approach obviously is to just make the movie as dumb and memeable as possible, that way people who are even slightly aware of Minecraft are interested because they keep hearing Flint and Steel over and over again. Nobody, not even Minecraft fans, wanted this movie until they saw I Am Steve in Flint and Steel and La 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 Lava Chicken, and it slowly but surely became evident that this movie was going to be cheesy, dumb, and a ton of fun, and that if you didn't go and see it, you'd be missing out. I love this approach to video game movies because it's so dumb that I can't help but laugh and have a good time. And it goes beyond just the movie because now these memes are going to follow me every time I play Minecraft. Every time I light up another portal, Flint and Steel! Imagine what it's going to be like seeing an actual chicken jockey while playing Minecraft now. Now, with everything I said, I hope it's obvious that in my opinion, what makes a good video game adaptation is the people making it having an actual love and understanding of the series that they're working on. Like, I personally didn't love the FNAF movie, but a ton of fans did because goddamn, look at how good the animatronics look. They got the Jim Henson Company to make them because they understood how important getting the animatronics right was, and they understood that because they loved the series. And because the guy who made the games was working on the movie. Which is also the case for my personal favorite video game movie ever made, the Illumination animated Mario movie. Mario's one of my favorite franchises ever, and I love the fact that Nintendo worked so hard along with Illumination to make sure that for me and everyone else that grew up with Nintendo, but most importantly for the kids seeing the movie, to have the movie accurately represent the magic of the Mushroom Kingdom. There are kids out there who, instead of having this weird obsession I have with this fucked up version of Mario, get to grow up having memories of a movie that has the love put into it that Nintendo puts into the games, and that is amazing.
Almost as amazing as subscribing to my channel to make sure you don't miss out on my future videos. I've been Shikes, I hope you enjoyed. Go ahead and leave a comment telling me what your favorite video game adaptation is. I'll see ya.